Hi guys, this is Crossy of Eclipse Gaming TV and welcome to part 3 of my FM2014 Living the Dream series, where I've thrown myself into the game to see if I could make it as a professional footballer. So, we've played through 2 seasons now. We've come to the end of the 2014-2015 season, and let's have a look at how things have got on. So I'm sure you will have been keeping up to date with this one, but you'll know that I put myself into the game as a striker, not a 30 goal a season man, more one of those that puts himself about a bit, puts a shift in, and is generally quite good at getting stuck in and booting people up in the air, which is about the only thing that I can offer in real life as far as football goes. So makes a lot of sense. You'll notice from my accent that I am very much English, but I do have some Scottish blood in me as well, which is why I have got 2 caps for Scotland. I've got a Scottish flag on my name, and as my contract with Absolute United ran out, I have gone and signed for Motherwell, who I believe are still going to be in the Scottish Premier League, and yes they are, so that is pretty much a step into... I guess you could say maybe championship level would be the best equivalent. That's where I've ended up. Notice key player here, Robert Green, is the Motherwell goalkeeper, going to be first choice, 35 now. Getting on a little bit, but still very strong player. And while we're at it, we'll have a look at some of the other players we've got here, see if there's anyone we recognise. James McFadden is a player that we can recognise with best part of 50 caps for Scotland. And aside from that, Gary Caldwell as well. So I might have to look this one up. Yeah, so Wigan defender, been around the Premiership for quite a while. And, aside from that, though, those are the names I recognise. Carlton Cole. Seriously? So we've got 31-year-old Carlton Cole playing for us as well. So that's going to be a fairly formidable strike partnership that we've got there between those two. I would think 2 big men that are quite willing to throw themselves about a bit. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. And how did Motherwell get on last season while we're at it? Have we got a fairly successful club? It looks like we've got a mid-table-y kind of club here. So, yeah, okay, fair enough. Quite happy with this sort of level. And then netting myself $3,000 a week, would quite happily quit the life of insurance for that. Transfer value has now settled down to something kind of realistic, about 150k, which is fine. Let's see how that last season ended with Ebbsfleet, who finished round about mid-table in the Skrill Premier League, so no chance to bounce straight back up, or bounce up and get 2 successive promotions, I should say. So played more games in the Skrill Premier, so 44 appearances in total, 10 goals, that's in the league of course, so that's dropped off a little bit, and the assist and the assist numbers are dropped off. The rating has also dropped off by a fair amount, by about half a point. Let's see if I can get a bit more in depth on the old stats here. Looks like it's not letting me do that, but we've got a breakdown here. So 14 goals in the league, ended up with 3 in the cup. So I think that is the same number of goals as I got these. Oh no, sorry, that's my Skrill South. No, it's not. Okay, so much more prolific in the cup anyway. So played in 10 games in total, 2 of those off the bench, 7 goals there, and 10 in the league. So quieter in the league, half decent cup performances though, and you can see my rating matched my overall rating for the end of the 2013-14 season with 7.1. So things weren't quite as rosy for us in the step up in class. Be interesting to see how the much bigger jump goes to the Scottish Premier at the end of this season. But I did notice I jumped in just before contract negotiations, etc. And our digital version of Mark Cross was fairly unhappy, wanted to move to a bigger club. I didn't really look at the loyalty stats or that sort of thing. It's not really how I would have reacted to the situation. I don't think I probably would have been maybe a little bit unhappy, but would have kept quiet about it or talked myself out of it. So yeah, maybe not quite the reaction I was hoping for, but we did almost guarantee that the Digital Cross would be moving on at the end of that 2-year Absolute contract and finding his level. So again, not particularly surprised by that, and we'll be looking forward to see how things move on. I would also, now especially as I'm playing in Scotland, like to see those 2 international caps be added to, because they weren't before. Step up in class, and ability to prove myself. And if at Scroll South you can get yourself a Scotland cap, then if you can produce the results in the Scottish Prem, you're in for a much bigger chance, I would think. Now, I know the focus is on this man here, but I am going to have a bit of a flick through and see what has happened elsewhere. As I noticed as I was just jumping in and out of the game, there's been a few interesting developments in the manager market, etc. In the Premier League, which is where my focus is going to be. So let's get to the Premier League. I'll try to. As always, I'll go the long way around to find things. And then we want to get the history of what happened in the... let's see if I can do it. So if I'm looking around at the stats, I should be at least knowing where this stuff goes. Arsenal have, for the second year running, taken the top spot in the Premier League. Manchester City runners up this time with Chelsea in third place. Manchester United slipped quite considerably here. David Moyes still in place, but his position is a little bit under threat, unfortunately for him. You'd expect Manchester United to be right up there, and it turned out that they weren't the season before. Also, Arsene Wenger has chosen to retire, and I'll have a look and see if there is a new manager appointed here, and there is, and it's Marcelo Bielsa, of Argentina, that's taken the top spot there. Also, let's have a look at a couple of other moves and shakers. Villas-Boas took the reins at Manchester City, so he's still there. Gus Hiddink left Tottenham by mutual consent, so he's dropped out there, and Pellegrini has taken that job after losing his position at Manchester City, so a lot of jumbling around there. QPR have found themselves back in the Premier League. Unfortunately, Leeds United have also managed to get themselves into the Prem, and they've been joined by Watford. You can tell the players that come up from the Championship, because in my game they've actually got badges. I haven't managed to sort that one out. A number of retirements, as you'd expect. Rio Ferdinand and Ryan Giggs have both dropped out of the Manchester United team and retired. Also, less of a big name. Unfortunately, Zat Knight has also hung up his boots, and he's now dropped out completely, which is a bit of a shame. Super Zat Knight, always solid at the back, honest. And then let's also have a quick glance while I'm at it at the world market and how things have developed here. So, top clubs still who you would expect for the most part in this mix of the top clubs. As for top players, though, got a few things that we can take a look at here. So, Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, as expected. I'm pretty sure this lot rates in terms of this is a top order. It's in order of best players. So Julian Draxler, the now 21-year-old at Bayern Munich, is the third best player in the world. The game is rating after 2 seasons. So he's signed for best part of £40 million. He's at Bayern after finally moving on at Schalke. See, averages 30-odd something appearances, always good for 5, 6, 7 goals, and a good rating of 7.1. Very, very solid. So he's developed very nicely. And I've got it turned on so you can see all of his stats. So 19 long shot, 16 passing, 17 technique, to name but a few, and very good first touch and dribbling as well. On best part of 100k a week, so he's doing a little bit better than digital version of Mark Cross is in comparison. Also up here, the names you expect: Iniesta, Gareth Bale, Juan Mata. Notice that Xavi has dropped out of this list. I wonder if he's gone on and retired perhaps. So we'll have a quick look and find out what's happened to him while we're at it. So Xavi's still in there, 35. And you notice that he really does seem to tail off in FM games towards the end of his career. So that's a bit of a shame. Any other names that are standing out here? Manuel Neuer, not really very good goalkeeper. Marc-Andre ter Stegen, where's this guy come from? Never even heard of him. Come in from Gladbach, signed for best part of 30 million. So he's a goalkeeper, 23-year-old German goalkeeper. Already got a couple of caps for the national team. So that lad's a bit good then. Of course, we're only 2 seasons into this, so we're not expecting any drastic changes to have taken place. Just skimming through any of the big transfers, and no big names really jumping out at me there. So that's pretty much it for this part. In the next part, we'll be moving on for one more year, seeing how things develop for the digital version of myself. And so I'm going to have a quick look at how stats are developing and moving on. Not a whole lot of changes really. I see free kick taking us bumped on by another 2. But for the most part, small increments, small jumps, no real tail-offs. Acceleration stayed as it was. The speed aspects I've kept fairly low to begin with, and sort of natural fitness and stamina staying down at 12. So fitness isn't one of my strongest aspects here. I noticed my jumping has dropped off by 2 points already. That's a bit worrying. Yeah, things starting to drop off a bit in the physical aspect, and they are not the best to begin with. So in a couple of years, by the time I start pushing 30, I think that could well limit where my career is going to push on to, which is a little bit unfortunate. But you can see, work rate and determination, I'll still put myself about a bit and use that 15 aggression to kick lumps out of people. I think Scottish football is probably where I belong with my style of play. So whether I'll move back to the English side of the game, I don't know. But I think sort of Scottish Premier League, maybe the Championship is about the maximum level I'm going to get to on this player, which is fine, understandable. It was sort of the level I was expecting and hoping for, all going to plan so far. But you never know, at Motherwell with Robert Green and Carlton Cole in the team as well as myself, we could see some fireworks and maybe a push on to some European football. Unlikely, but we can always hope, can't we? If you've enjoyed this series, then please feel free to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. As well as this series and other simulations, I've also got a lower league to Champions League challenge going on with Dover Athletic at the moment. And aside from Football Manager, as time goes on, there will be more happening with the channel, so keep it locked. Also, like the video if you have enjoyed it. It really does me a favour. And anything you'd like to see from this kind of series, or just in general from the channel, drop that in the comments and I will do my very best to help out. As for me, thanks a lot for watching.